so I was very surprised to find out that, you guys were apart. How would you describe the relationship you had with your dad as a child, and what happened that you guys broke apart?
Well, my dad cheated on my mom, so I didn't. My parents got divorced, so that was really. I felt like I got cheated as well, and so that was. And at a 15-year-old, it was a very difficult age for your parents to get divorced as well. I think with my relationship with my dad, it's been an ever growing thing. It's been a journey. I think as a child, I love my dad. I was very much a daddy's girl, but I think there were times with, this goes into generational of my dad didn't, he was raised by his older grandparents. He didn't have like that same kind of love. So he didn't really know what to do with me as a kid, I think. And he loved me as well as he could. And he made a joke that he's like, yeah, I remember one time I went to go play golf and I saw you playing by yourself, but I went to go play golf. And I was like, yeah, you traded your 5-year-old for a 5-iron. It's like a little, that's kind of how it is. Like, it's always kind of been Lopez versus Lopez together, and in real life as well. I think there were times where, he didn't understand how he had hurt me, or, he thought I could do more for him. It was always back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm so grateful now that really our relationship started to change with the pandemic, and it really put into perspective how important family was to all of us, like with my mother included. And like, that's kind of how when the show started to come about. And I think it's enough time has passed where we're able to visit those places and bring out the realness and the authenticity for it to relate to a lot of our viewers and create something beautiful. And now I get to work with him, and I'm very grateful of where my relationship is with my dad now.
So who reached out to whom? Who was the first one to take action?
I think it was really, I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't talk to him for about 3.5 years. And I had some personal things going on. And so it was always kind of back and forth. But, I think it doesn't matter, because it's just where we are now.
Mm-hmm. So Debbie, I understand you were chismeando in Spanish, is spooking on TikTok. And that's how you came across with the idea of the story, Lopez versus Lopez. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was like on TikTok, I have a TikTok addiction, like many, like over the pandemic, I was just like on it, and it caters to what you like. So like I like Latino content, like I like, therapy, like all, like it just catered, like all these videos were coming up, and Mayan's video popped up in my FYP, and I was just immediately struck by it, because she was just like, there was this video where this strong Gen Z Latina was calling out her boomer father for his past mistakes and for his bad parenting. And I was just, and she was twerking upside down while she was doing it. And I was like, this is like equally parts like heartfelt, touching, and hysterical. And I'm like, this is what I do. This is a sitcom world. This is a sitcom in this TikTok. And I immediately, it was like 3 a.m. and I immediately emailed Bruce Helford, who is the co-creator of the original George Lopez show. And I said, look at this thing that George Lopez's daughter put out there. This is a show. This is how we bring George back to network television. Like, it's a show with his daughter. And, it's sort of, in the original show was about him exploring his relationship with his grandmother, and his grandmother Benny, and who played his mother Benny in the show. And then this show is about, Mayan confronting George. So it's like sort of the next generation of it. And it just made sense, and it was fire from pitching it immediately. Everyone was just on board, and this like felt like this was a story that had to be told.
How do you describe their bond and their relationship now throughout the show? Did you see any growth?
Yes, it's been really beautiful. It's been such a like, I'm like I feel like a creepy voyeur sometimes, because I'm watching these two, like I'm writing these scenes for these two to like have these conversations that they wouldn't normally have, and then they're having them, and they're really talking to one another. They're not just doing dialogue. They're really having these moments, and it's a really beautiful, special, rare thing. that we have in this show, is that this is a real father-daughter who are, going through it and healing from the past. And, I think that's really wonderful and beautiful. And, I think it has the potential to resonate with others that are going through the same, and hopefully, we can inspire other families to heal.
So Mayan, what were the most difficult conversations that were the toughest for you to talk to your dad about?
I think some of the toughest ones were just having to deal with very delicate, where there was the most pain of, why couldn't he be like the father that, I always envisioned, and I've had to, lower expectations. And, I have a saying from my therapist, is that it may have been your parents' mistake, but it's your responsibility. And so, you have to take responsibility for your own healing. And so I look at my parents and I see them as people. I don't have the same vendettas as I've grown up and seen my own humanity. I'm able to understand. I may not agree with past choices, and I think I've kind of have more indifference now, because I don't want to have that negativity in my life. I want to more focus on just creating the love that I have with them, and just having, I can accept where things are, and some things are as just good as it's going to get, but I can build and create more moments in my relationship with my father. And so I think that in the show, I think some of those moments are hard of, when my dad wasn't around, those moments of when we weren't speaking, and what it was like for both of us, because I don't think some of the times we like to talk about like what it was like for both of us. Like we have, but not in a long time. So I think when those come up, like those moments that are very real, that's, it's just, you can see when you're watching, it's like, it's just us talking to each other. And it's good to kind of have it, almost like it's out there, but it's almost a release for me.
Right.
Like
And then
everyone's
they'll be doing a scene like that, and then George gives Mayan a wedgie, and
Yeah, exactly. And then he'll give me a wedgie, and then it'll be like, and we're like joking, and like even between scenes, like we're always like laughing, we're constantly laughing, always hugging, and it's very nice. It's the most time we've spent with each other in like 10 years. So even that in itself it's a gift, and I'm very grateful every day to work with him. I love him very much.
I hope I see stand-up comedy between you two, together.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in the future.
Maybe in the future. I wouldn't put anything past it. I think I definitely want to use it as a medium, but I always had a hard thing with stand-up sometimes, because it was just almost too close. Also but now that I'm doing it, I'm like, hey, I can be pretty good at it, so I'll give it a shot. Why not?
You have his talent.
Yes.
I'll tell you that. Thank you so much for both of you for your time.
Thank you.
Dulce.
Gracias. Bye-bye.